Good morning, everybody. It's Becky from AVS. I'm going to be teaching you blocks 6 and 7 today. And so you see my red and white stripes. That's because Monday is Flag Day and it happens to be my birthday. So I love red and white. I've even done my beautiful nails so that I have fun for my birthday. Anyway, so let's get going on step 1 of block 6. So if you look here on your diagram, it's going to show you how you're going to be sewing 2 of your small squares to the rectangle. Now I'm not going to sew those to show you because that's the easy part of the block. So you're going to make 2 of these units, okay? So when we go to number 2, what we're going to do is add rectangles to the big square that you've done. So I've sewn one already. We're going to sew the second one right now. And she's just going to go right here. And another little thread catcher here. I'm going to trim that, get rid of that little piece right there. Okay, so we're going to iron this like this, and both of these are going to be ironed towards the big square. I'm going to make sure that that holds right there. I should be using my trusty stiletto. And then I'm going to make sure that this one meets right here, and I'm going to hold that with my stiletto. For those of you who have the stiletto, I hope you're using it. It is the handiest tool. And then I'm going to make sure that these meet also. And if there's a little bit of a gap, because we're working with so much bias, you'll be able to make them match. I know I've told you 100 times that I don't like these little hairs because I don't like to have to clean up the back of my quilt when I'm finished. I like to do it as I go. So what we're going to do is we're going to iron this. Now we've talked before about doing pinwheels, so I'm going to show you this piece. And in the instructions, they tell you to press it towards, let me make sure here, towards the center. Well, I like to make the pinwheel instead, because if you pressed this towards the center, if you feel this area right here, there's a big lump. Whereas if we do this and do the pinwheel, then we have a very flat, nice seam. And you're going to end up with a piece that looks like this. And this should measure 6.5 inches square for you. Now we're on to step 4. And you've done this several times before. So what we're going to do is add one of those little side triangles, the 17 or the 17R, to the kite that we have here. And so you're going to, I always sew from this end down to the point. I normally don't like to start with the point. It'll probably make me a liar pretty soon. And you're going to iron this towards this piece like this. And here's one that I have finished so I can show you. I like to iron it this way because when we get down to here, I like to be able to see where those two meet. But I'm going to do the second one for you now. So when I place this one here, if I sewed, I just don't like the points. Remember I told you? So what I'm going to do is flip this over, and I'm going to make sure that I start up here with those lines really, really nice. And we're going to sew this. So after I get it started, I like to make sure that this end piece is exactly at the same point as that, because this is the one when you're sewing, if you don't keep it going totally straight, you're not going to have a beautiful 1/4 inch seam at the bottom for you to do. So let's press this open and see. So when you press it open, you have that nice little area for your next seam so that you don't cut off a point. And I have an ironed one here to show you. So when you turn it over, when you see this right here, it's hard to see because I have pink thread there, but you have a good 1/4 inch seam there for doing the next piece. This should measure 3.5 inches, and you are going to make 4 of these. All right, now we're going to do step 5, and this is a little bit different. Normally when we're doing something that has a triangle and this little piece here, the big piece goes with the big. This is going to be just the opposite, so I want you to keep watching your picture and make sure you do it the same. So this piece is going to go like this, and we're going to make 2 different versions of this. So I'm going to turn this over because, again, I don't like to sew from that point if I don't have to. So we're going to sew this on. I always have my little cheater piece here to catch my threads. I'm going to cut that off. Take this off. And this is going to iron open, and I iron it towards the small triangle. So you can see it here where I've ironed it that way. Okay, now instead of doing 2 white ones, we are going to put the other color that you've cut out. So this one is going to go like this, and I'm going to turn it up here, and we're going to sew this one. So I want to show you how this looks when we're finished. And we're going to make 2 different versions of this. So we're going to put one up there, so you're going to end up with a piece like this that has two different colors, and it's going to iron. I'm going to show you a piece here. Both of them are going to iron to the small triangle, and we're going to have that nice area here where we can look. And so it's going to look like this. You're going to make 4 of these. So also we're going to go ahead and go to the next one. So what I'm going to do here is sew it just the opposite. So you see how this one has the white to the left? Now we're going to put the white to the right. And then we are going to, again, we have another, so we're going to have just the opposites. So let's go ahead and sew this together. Okay, so now here's where I had to make a decision, because remember how I like to start up here, but I also have a seam up here. But I don't like to start here even more, so I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to start right here. And we're going to sew this together. Get my trusty stiletto because I like to hold this better. Okay, so also it helps hold everything together for me. I can use it as an extra finger. Okay, so this is going to iron open, and we are going to have just the opposite. And I have one here to show you. So you can see how we have white on the left, white on the right. And you're going to make 4 of each of these. All right, everybody, we are now on step 7. So what we're going to do is join these pieces together. So this is where I actually pin. Now I've shown you this before, but I'm going to show you one more time. What I want you to do is put your pin in right where the 2 seams meet. And I always turn it over to their side. Now you see how I've pinned a little bit to the side of the point. So I'm going to, I want it right there. Oops, I pulled it out. I like to be very exact on this because, okay, now what we're going to do is put our pin at the same area down here. We're going to pin it. Now I am not going to take my pin and go like this, because when I do, if you feel it at home, you can see how the top piece kind of pulls. So we're going to keep that pin straight through like that. And I'm going to line these pieces up as good as I can. And I'm going to hold that pin going straight. Then I'm going to take another pin and I'm going to go like this. And you don't want to go straight in. You want to go at an angle like this, about 1/16 of an inch from this pin. And we are also going to do it on the other side. So we're going to stick 2 pins like this. And I'm going to pull this pin out. What that has done is it has kept these 2 pieces right there together. And I am going to be really naughty, and I'm going to sew over my pins. And I need to say this, I am not telling you you need to do it that way. I am taking a chance that I am not going to hit a pin straight on. So I go right there. So when I hit the part where I've already gone past the point, I'm going to take them both out. And then I'm going to make sure that this second piece meets right here. And we're going to sew this. And we will open it up and see how good of a job we did. Get rid of this little hair right there. I don't like it. Okay, so when we open this up, you see how pretty those points meet when you do it like that? And this seam we are going to iron open. And the reason being, if we sewed it this way, we're going to have a lump here and nothing there. If we ironed it that way, there's going to be a lump. So when we press the seam open, it's more of a flat seam. And you are going to make 4 of these units. Okay, we are now on step 8. So you're going to add a unit from step 4, which is this piece right here. You have the 2 white small triangles onto the kite, and we are going to sew them to this piece. So what I want you to make sure that you do, so look on our diagram here. You see, so the white here is what our background is. So we are going to place this, let me turn this the same way, like this. Okay, so you're going to have the kite pointing towards the color, not towards the white. So you're going to sew 1 piece to here, and you're going to sew the second piece to here. And so it's going to end up like this. And so this one, I don't pin it because I'm just doing a 1/4 inch seam. And on this one, you'll see where I have my seam pressed open here. These 2 seams, I press towards the corners. You're going to make 2 of these. Okay, so we still have 2 pieces left, which is going to be this piece here. And I already sewed them on here. You're going to sew them on 2 opposite sides. So you're going to have a piece that looks like this. So remember, you're going to have your background fabric, which is your C fabric, out towards the outside. Now what we're going to do is add 2 of these. And this is going to go this way because I want the white on the outside. So I am going to pin this piece because I have points. You see this point here? And then we have a point here. And I want those to match. So I'm going to do my trusty little system that I do. And that's going to go there. My pin's going to go straight through. And I'm going to put 2 more pins in here. 1, 2. Sometimes you have to leave this pin in if you don't know where that stitch is, but I see exactly where it is, so I don't have to worry. And then we're going to do the second one. It is worth the extra time that it takes to pin this so that your block turns out really pretty. You want to make those points match because that's what this is all about. I have a friend that I teach quilting, and she goes, all I can remember you saying is precise, precise, precise. So quilting is very precise, and as you get better at it, you will do more, and you will get really good at your points. Okay, so I'm going to go slower when I get up to here, and I'm going to make it. Okay, so once I get past the seam, I'm going to do that. Now I want to make sure that this center piece is really nice. So I'm going to use my stiletto to make sure it stays nice and still for me. So when I get up here, right to where my seam is, I can see with my needle that my 2 seams meet right there. So I'm going to stitch that. And then this is going to go out to here. And let's get rid of these little hairs while we're at it. Okay, so this is going to open up like this. Now it tells you on the instructions to press towards the center. I myself like to make a pinwheel. And the way you would judge this one is the 2 main seams that you have. You know that how a pinwheel has to go in a circle like this. Depending on, or like this one, the seams are going that way. So I need to make sure that I press my seams like this. And when I open that up, I have a pinwheel, which again makes that really flat. And these are going to lay like this. And so you're going to do that on both edges. And this is the beautiful square that we are going to end up with.